What is going on, Wildcat 91.9? This is Kolby Van Camp, the executive sports producer for the station. I'm doing a brand new thing, and we're doing Call It Coach, because none other than the Dragonslayer, Benjamin Coach Wade himself, multi-time survivor person, is coming out to be on the show. Kind of a fun little podcasting that we're doing. Every week, we're going to be breaking down the Big 12, what exactly is happening in Big 12 play in college football, and what our score predictions are. So, Coach, thanks for joining me this evening.
As you can see, I'm surrounded by these beautiful lights, doing an extension on my house. And guess what? I'm drinking a little toasted Nulu single barrel bourbon. Another story for another day. And I'm actually permanently in the Dragonslayer. The way I'm holding my glass like this, it's not by accident. And I'm holding the camera. I'm going to do this whole podcast doing a Dragonslayer.
That's the apex way to do it. Coach and I are both whiskey connoisseurs. Coach far outranks me at this point in connoisseurship, but yeah, be aware for his bottle that's dropping pretty soon. That's pretty cool. We can't say prices here on the station, but I'm looking forward to getting the link for that one. So, all right, Coach, we're in week 5, week 6 for some teams of Big 12 play. And here's the teams we got at the docket. We got number 17 TCU at number 19 Kansas. It's the first time that College Game Day has ever been to Lawrence. As you can see, I'm wearing my Cats shirt, so that's an F in the chat for me, because I hate it that College Game Day is over there at KU, but it is what it is. Then you got the Red River rivalry with Texas and Oklahoma. It's the only Big 12 teams this week that are playing where at least one of them is not ranked. And that is hilarious that it ends up being Texas and Oklahoma. And you got Texas Tech at number 7, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is by far the favorite, but don't let Texas Tech fool you. And then, of course, you got the number 20 Kansas State Wildcats at Iowa State for Farmageddon. That's going to be our last pick. But I'm going to start right out with College Game Day. Coach, TCU just came off of a huge win against Oklahoma. I mean, they pounded them. 55-24. This is in Oklahoma that we thought the defense was going to dominate. Brent Venables leaves Clemson as their defensive coordinator, comes over to be the head coach of Oklahoma, gets taken to school by Kansas State in Norman 2 weeks ago to a tune of 41-34. And then they get absolutely destroyed by TCU. Meanwhile, KU, for the first time since 2009, is 5-0 and 2-0 in conference play. But don't let that fool you either, because the rest of their season is a buzzsaw, starting off with TCU this week. And then also, if you talk about 2009, when they went 5-0 and 2-0, they then turned around and went 0-7 and missed a bowl game. So how are we feeling about TCU, number 17, at number 19 KU this weekend with College Game Day?
Do not be distracted by this bicep. Just wanted you to know that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, man, the Horned Frogs are for real. That's all I'm going to say. TCU, I'm picking them for sure.
Okay. You got, what kind of score predictions are we going for? We're doing score predictions here.
Oh, okay. We're doing score predictions as well. How about 45-21?
45-21. All right, that's pretty close to what I had. I picked TCU as well, 49-28. I think that it's going to be a little bit more distant than KU fans want it to be, but KU has yet to play a real defense until they got to Iowa State last week. And let me put it to you this way. First 3 games of the season, KU averages 55 points per game. Last game before before Iowa State, they played Duke. 35 points is all they put up on that for the win, and they only put up 14 against Iowa State. They actually lose that game if Iowa State's freshman kicker makes any of his 3 field goals, and they won that game 14-11. So I think that TCU is going to be the nail in the coffin, and KU is going to lose the first ever College Game Day for them to host at home, 49-28. That's my prediction. So next on the docket, we got Texas. Texas is 3-2 and 1-1 in conference play at Oklahoma. Oklahoma, it's a neutral site game, but Oklahoma is the home team this year because Texas was last year. Oklahoma 3-2 and 0-2 in conference play. What are we feeling about the Red River rivalry?
I'll tell you, man, that's a pretty sad rivalry this year, isn't it? It's like usually that's a cracker of a game. Huge college football fan, Coach is. Let me just tell you, man, that's I'd rather watch college football than just about anything else except for the World Cup. If
Fair
you
enough.
say, hey, go watch a MLS game or watch a college football game, wouldn't matter what 2 teams. I'm picking college football over anything.
Nice.
Anyway, so I got to go with Oklahoma's on a slide. Oklahoma bounces back. That's what
okay. You got the Sooners bouncing back, and their defense puts it together. Okay. What's a score? What are we thinking?
31-28.
31-28. Okay, I have Texas winning this one, 45-35. Texas was up big last year in the Red River rivalry, and then they decided to bench Spencer Rattler, who's now a Gamecock. He's over at South Carolina. You're a big Tennessee fan. You're a Tennessee grad. You were there when Peyton Manning was in the shotgun calling the signals. What a time to be a Volunteer fan. They're looking pretty good themselves. But yeah, Spencer Rattler now is not at Oklahoma. Caleb Williams also left with Lincoln Riley to go over to USC. So now they got Dylan Gabriel from UCF. He transferred over and he took a huge shot in the head last week, had to be carried off the field. So I don't know if he's going to be back, which is why I predicted if he had been back, I would have said, I think Oklahoma might bounce back on this one. But I don't think they do. 45-35 is my score in favor of the Longhorns. Even though I'm a fat horns down kind of guy, I'm going to pick Texas on this one. All right, so 2 games left. The second to last being Texas Tech. They're 3-2 and 1-1. Came off a loss, 37-28 to Kansas State last weekend at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, and they're going to be in Stillwater to play number 7 Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is 4-0 and 1-0 in conference play. Spencer Sanders, quarterback for Oklahoma State, is looking pretty good these days. He is kind of slid in the Heisman odds, but I wouldn't count them out. They're a big time team. Mike Gundy has them ready to play. What are we thinking about the Oklahoma State Texas Tech game?
That's a pretty easy one.
Okay.
I got to go with the ranked team on this one, 45-10.
Okay. Wow. Texas Tech, their defense, I think, is going to prove to be better than you would expect. And man, their tempo offense, Donovan Smith, I mean, they got a penalty last week at Kansas State because they snapped the ball before the play clock had restarted because they were going so fast. But I picked Oklahoma State. I think it's going to be a closer game than the pundits, including yourself, are predicting. I picked Oklahoma State 34-28.
Got it.
Yep. All right. And then last but not least, number 20, Kansas State, 4-1 and 2-0 in conference play for Farmageddon. All right. Burn the corn over in Iowa, Ames at Iowa State. They're 3-2 and 0-2. They took a loss to KU last week. And you know what? I absolved myself. The last time I said I was going to pick a score and predict a game is the Baylor game in 2012. Kansas State got absolutely curb stomped and we lost out on a natty. I've never picked Kansas State. Never done a score prediction like that again, and I never will. That's the one time I'm going to get superstitious on you. So the score is all yours.
Okay. Obviously, I'm going K-State, and let's say it's 51-24.
51-24. Yes, the Cats putting up the highest points that they've put up this entire season. You like to see it. Okay, 51-24 Cats. Be sure to tune into that game because I'm going to be on Wildcat 91.9 from Ames with my colleague Jasmine Halliburton. We've got a great studio team lined up for this Saturday for Farmageddon, and it's going to be a heck of a game. Coach, I appreciate you coming on with call it, Coach. I like the little graphic that we put together, some dragons on it. And
I like it.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what other picks that we have going on. Any final parting words for us?
Go Vols, man. I've been waiting for oh man, like 15 years for the Vols to be good again. A quick side story. I'm telling my son, because he's getting old enough, I was telling him there's nothing like being at UT Stadium, 105,000 people. Reggie White, good friend of mine, was at my Pop Warner football game speaking and everything. Reggie White won the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. And they asked him, what was it like playing for the Super Bowl? He said it was awesome, but really it was the same atmosphere as playing at the University of Tennessee week in and week out. And so I was telling my family about it. It's going to be amazing. So we booked tickets. We booked a flight back there, and we happened to watch the last game against Vanderbilt. No brainer. They're always going to win. This was 3 years ago, and they lost against Vanderbilt, and it was actually the worst season in Tennessee football history. And I was at that game.
Oh,
and
no.
The crowd was, of course, half full and miserable, and there was no love at all. And I was like pumping up how great they were. I'm just glad they're having a good season. I think they're going to beat LSU, but I do not think that they're going to be able to handle Georgia and Florida. But if they go through the season with only 2 losses, it's a good building year. But you never know. You know what? Hendon Hooker, that's why they give out Heismans. If he can put it together and beat both of those teams, he deserves it.
Yeah. And I tell you what, Kansas State. Pete Carroll was the head coach for USC back in the early 2000s. And he went on record and said that out of all the places that he played, out of all the national championships that he coached USC in, Bill Snyder Family Stadium was the loudest and most hostile environment that he ever coached in. So take that with a grain of salt. I need you to come out to for a game in the Bill. We'll get you up in the booth in the press box, and we'll make it happen. But hey,
Love it.
yeah, this is great stuff. Thanks for tuning into this fantastic podcast that we're putting together with yours truly, Kolby Van Camp, with the Dragonslayer, Benjamin Coach Wade. EMOS season is back, baby, on Wildcat 91.9.